Sup everybody, it's D's. Got another reaction. I'm about to react. Another one right there for Robert Kennedy. I'm gonna see another one. He's gonna be talking about, from stuff in the '60s and everything. So, hey, let's check it out. The only thing I just remember though, you have like, was it, the other Kennedy, the one right there for California and stuff right there. He really helped for other ones right there. Like the Mexicans and and the Filipinos and everybody in the '60s when people were trying to get more, trying to, because there wasn't getting paid that much, and they went to strike for a while and get it right there for Chavez and everything and all that kind of stuff, and the civil rights movements and all that kind of stuff happening, Martin Luther King, all that kind of stuff. So it's all like the same time, So let's see what he's gonna be saying about this stuff. And he knows some, like, he's a Democrat. To me, I'm not saying I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go straight into it now. But feels like the Kennedy is like a different kind of Democrat though, if you, to be honest though, because there's I didn't this, they know about this side, this side, this side, this side. I don't even know there's all different kind of like Democrats, but I'm now trying to understand this kind of stuff now. So hey, let's go straight into this then. All right, 3, 2, 1.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
When we sued Monsanto, there's many diseases that are linked to glyphosate exposure, including non-alcoholic fatty liver cancers are very closely linked. A lot of kidney diseases, and then severe damage to the microbiome, because it's designed to kill plants, and there are structures in your gut biome that are critical structures in your gut biome, which have plant-like metabolisms which are destroyed by glyphosate. And so, what happened is glyphosate was originally developed as a tank scalant. So to scale the calcium and other deposits, metal deposits, rust deposits from the inside of underground tanks. And in 1973, Monsanto had to stop producing DDT because we passed the laws at that time, and that was its flagship product. It needed another product, and it figured out that glyphosate. Somebody at some point apparently threw some glyphosate on the out in the back in the yard, and everything green died where they touched it, where it touched the glyphosate. And so somebody said, "Oh, this will be a good herbicide because it kills all plants." So originally, Monsanto developed it as an herbicide, but the way that it was applied initially from 1973 to 1993 was in backpack sprayers. So guys would walk down the corn rows early in the season when the corn was competing with nearby weeds for sunlight, and they would shoot the individual weeds. And then in 1993, somebody figured out a way that glyphosate, that there was certain bacteria that glyphosate would not kill. And they said we could take a gene out of that bacteria and.
There's a lot of stuff I've been seeing about that too. I mean, there's one that too when you get the weeds like that with the green, whatever it is, all that kind of stuff. The same thing. I might say the wrong thing. My bad. Whatever. Like when you go to Costco and some other big brands right there, they do spray all of them with some stuff, and I didn't even know about that kind of stuff. But hey, man, life is hard.
Put it into a corn seed and develop a corn that cannot be killed by glyphosate. So they developed Roundup Ready corn. And that corn, you can pour glyphosate all over it, and it will do nothing to it. So now you could fire all of those workers who were expensive, and you hire one airplane, and they fly over the fields. They saturate the entire landscape with glyphosate. Everything dies
real?
except the Roundup Ready corn. And within a couple of years, Roundup Ready corn was now on 90% of the corn, 95% of the corn in the United States is now Roundup Ready corn. And so, but it was still being, and then they developed it for soybean and for barley, for sorghum, for a lot of other plants. But it was still being applied early in the season. And then in around 2006, they discovered that if you sprayed it on wheat late in the season, it would desiccate the wheat. In other words, it would dry it out.
Oh, snap.
And one of the big losses for farmers in wheat is if it rains during the harvest season, you can't harvest it because it gets moldy.
That was like a big thing when I was in high school. It was like speech and debate when I did. One of them was about something like this, about that kind of stuff. I mean, not one, some stuff like this. So but this was like 2008 from my things when I heard about something like this, man. So interesting.
And so if you can spray it,
And then when I talk about when I'm talking to my grandpa, and then him, because he was raised into a farm and stuff, and his aunties, his uncles and his brothers and sisters, they used to live there too, and everybody, that kind of stuff. And that's why when they be telling me how it was, these kind of things are very interesting, because that this is like the 50s, 60s, 70s when they talk about their kind of stuff. So it's okay. It's like the same time, the 70s right there, 80s, same thing, man. Yeah.
skin on it and dries it out and kills it. You can harvest it right away and it won't get moldy. So all the wheat in our country started being sprayed that year in 2006 with glyphosate, and that's the year you saw this explosion of celiac diseases and gluten allergies and all of this stuff that people, that you may have noticed around then.
But they also did.
The first time the first time they're spraying it directly on food, because it used to be they were spraying it early in the season. And it would wash off, and the corn would get higher than the weeds, and you wouldn't have to do it. But now they're spraying it directly on our food. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So, when they started doing this, there's a direct result? Like you can see the increase in celiac disease. You can see. Is this like documented?
Well, no. These are. No, that's not documented.
Not documented.
But there's a whole range of diseases that are now, that people that different levels of science have linked to glyphosate exposure. Here's the thing: when you litigate, when you're suing somebody for a chemical exposure, you have to go through a threshold called the Daubert hearing. And the Daubert hearing is a hearing that says, is there sufficient science that it's now considered kind of mainstream that...
Hey, man, this is making you just think, like, what the F bet I've been eating when I'm younger, huh? That kind of stuff, those kind of, the wheats and everything. Snap, man. That means my generation is not all bad, man. Damn, maybe that's why, like... obesity is more worse now, huh? Especially for kids now. Is that because of that kind of stuff? Damn, when they have all that kind of stuff they doing right there, they just got everybody more fat too with it, and made it like all the like disease and everything too. Damn, man, all bad. Disgusting.
We can show this to a jury, and the judge has to make that decision because the judge doesn't want.
Can't even drink no water sometimes now.
Coming in and saying.
Like when I'm younger, man, I'm gonna lie. Like I'll say, like the 90s, early 2000s. Because I'm a 90s boy. So when I'm come over there with my grandparents and everything, my house, used to drink like tap water. I used to kill that shit. Just have some water, get some ice with it, put some water. It's like, damn, this thing is delicious, But now when I'm seeing like some tap water, especially where I'm living now too, I'm like, ugh, man. It's crazy. Everything's going more crazy, worse and worse and worse.
Loud noises made me crazy.
Right.
There has to be before, and then a good attorney might be able to convince a jury that my client got crazy because he heard a loud noise. So the judge needs to make a threshold decision about whether there's sufficient science to show a jury, and that is a very high threshold. So of all of the diseases that are probably almost certainly caused by glyphosate, the only one to pass that threshold was the case that we brought for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So at that point, we had enough rat studies, enough human studies. We had about 10 of each. And we were able to go to the judge and say, we got enough science on this now to show that it's that non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is being caused by glyphosate. So those were the only cases we brought. The other thing,
Damn, hey, if he's saying, because he said the other one right there too from the government, that thing, the other one, and this one about right here, I don't know, man. You gonna can't say that kind of stuff, man. It's gonna be bad. It's like if it happens, man, they don't want secrets like this, man.
but there are a lot of really interesting studies that show links between injuries to children and the amount of glyphosate in a woman's urine and the mother's urine. Including a lot of sexual development. It's an endocrine disruptor. So,
Similar to phthalates?
phthalates are an endocrine disruptor. Probably the most disturbing endocrine disruptor, and this is something we should all be looking at, is atrazine.
Yeah.
Because atrazine, which is now ubiquitous, it's everywhere. But you can take atrazine, and what is his name?
Jamie.
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 You can look up. You can look up this study. I think the scientist's name is Tyler, I think, and that might be his first or second name. But they took atrazine and they put it in a tank with 40 frogs for 3 years. They put it below the exposure levels that EPA considers acceptable to humans. And 30 of those frogs, they were all male frogs, and they were double Z, male frogs, so they were super males. And 30 of those frogs were chemically castrated.
Damn, eat that kind of stuff, you're going to be a superhero or you're just going to die.
4 of them turned into females and produced fertile eggs.
Oh, snap.
So they took male frogs, gave them atrazine, 10% of them turned into female and produced fertile eggs. And we're subjecting our children to exposure to that every day.
What is atrazine?
It's in the water. It's a pesticide.
Here it is. Report toxic herbicide found in many Texans' drinking water. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's from 2018, November 20th.
Yeah, and what does this do to sexual development in children? Nobody knows, because we know what it does to frogs.
Damn. Shit like rats, frogs, all that kind of stuff. I'll see what happens. That's like scientists gonna hit that stuff right there, man. That is very, 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 very interesting about that. And man, we be eating, like, to be honest though, we are eating some bad stuff, man. But some of that bad stuff is delicious. Delicious. Snap, man. That is crazy. Man. So tell me what you guys think about that in the comments, man. Like, subscribe, show love, man. It's D's World. You know how it is right here, man. This is very, very, very interesting. Makes me just think about that. But I've been thinking about this for a while, about what you're eating now and all that kind of stuff. Just like, oh man, it's like when you go to different kind of grocery places. Some people have some cheaper stuff, but when you look at it's because it's gonna be all bad in like a couple of days. It's like, dude, I'm cool with that. That's why you gotta watch out, eat more healthy things, and watch out what you're doing. But snap, man. All right, man. Next time, hit me right there in the comments, man. Peace.